Even if the only content that your church is currently creating is the weekly sermon, that's still 52 pieces in 1 year. Content creation can be much more robust, and there are incredible ways that you can utilize to connect with your church and those that you'd like to invite throughout the week. I like what Kerry Newhoff has to say about this. He says you'll likely have an audience if you produce content that genuinely helps your audience. People are drawn to things that support them, improve their lives, or give them greater meaning. Today, there is more clutter, information, and noise vying for people's attention. Your audience, congregation, and the people you want to reach long for voices that help make sense of this world and add value to their lives. Your church can be one of those voices. At the end of this video, I have a 7-step content plan that you can download, but let's start here. The first step to putting together a content plan is clarifying what you want to accomplish. For example, do you want to reach people that have never heard of your church? Do you want to double the amount of people who attend your Next Steps or Growth Track class? Do you want to invite people to an upcoming marriage conference? Raise awareness in your community of your church's youth group? Whatever it may be, you have to determine the goal of the content. The second step is you must determine the type of content that you want to share. There are several types of content that you can create, but which one can your team begin to create with the most excellence and expertise? To help you decide what kind of content you should start with, first evaluate the following considerations. What is your budget? What expertise is immediately available? What types of content fit with the resources you already use and are creating? For example, do you already have sermons around these topics, studies, devotionals, etc.? The third step is you have to make content that is relevant, helpful, and specific. For the content efforts of your church to be effective, you must create resources that serve and help people. There are a few questions that you can ask to help ensure that this content is helpful. First, why do you want to create this content? Who is the content for? What problem do you want to help solve? What next steps do you want to encourage? These types of questions will help ensure that your content delivers on the purpose for it. The fourth step is decide where you want to share the content. Even though there are many platforms to share content, that doesn't mean that you have to use, nor should you use them all. Finding out the channels that the people you want to reach use is important. Take time to evaluate which platforms will be best. And then content stack. Think about it this way. Let's use the sermon for example. You have the sermon, whether the audio or the notes, and this is essentially the first layer or the foundation for stacking content. Can you take the full-length sermon and create a blog post, a full-length video for YouTube, a podcast? Next, consider that most preachers break their sermon into several points. Is there an opportunity to break the sermon into 3 or 4 shorter videos for YouTube? Can you use the content within these 3 or 4 individual points to create carousel posts for social platforms? Or use the videos within these segments to create short form content for reels and stories? You could upload the sermon transcript into an AI tool like ChatGPT and use a prompt like, create a content calendar for the next 2 weeks using the best statements from this sermon to share as tweets and threads. Content stacking is an effective way to leverage one larger piece of content to create several smaller pieces of content that are still highly valuable. The fifth thing is to create a content schedule. Using a content schedule will help ensure that you publish on time, and it will be useful for communicating. Using a tool like Trello or Asana among your team to keep everyone on the same page will help ensure a consistent schedule. When creating this schedule, it needs to answer 3 basic questions. Who is creating which pieces of content? Where is the content going to be published? And when is the content going to be live? The 6th step is to test different types of content. Don't be afraid to try out different types to see what is the most engaging with those that you're looking to reach. As long as you're still answering the questions in steps 1 through 3, it's okay to mix it up. Doing so will help you to create better, more compelling content. And then the 7th step is to analyze and measure results. Measuring the results of your content is not as complicated as it may sound. If you define the goals in step 1 and assess the outcomes relevant to the timeliness of your goals, you can better understand if your content plan needs adjustment. Following a plan can help you clarify the purpose of your content and guide the creative process. Working together as a team with a clear vision, a heart for people, and valuable content can provide tremendous value to those you want to reach. Churches are often already experts at producing content. With a bit of planning, the resources you provide can be repurposed or used for inspiration to create entirely new content that connects with people in a new way. Do you need help getting started? Use the link in the description to download the free content creation plan for churches. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.